Hello and welcome. I am so excited to have my buddy Tanya here with me
Yeah.
today. We have been just laughing our butts off. It's taken us 37 minutes to get on this call and I can't
Mhm.
record.
That's normal for us.
It is normal for us. I'm so excited to have you here. And I was just thinking before we got on the call that I was actually on your podcast. Like,
Yes.
was that like 3 years ago?
Yes, we need to redo that. So we're going to have you on again for sure. I was just thinking about that this morning. I was like, I got to have Meg on again. So we're going to do that.
Yeah. So this was Tanya's Life Masters podcast, and
Hmm.
I love that because I'm like, I definitely have not mastered the art of life. It's
I think you have.
such a beautiful offering that you have, and been creating so much over the last few years. You have so much to offer my audience. Like we are just offline talking about the through line of what we're going to talk about, and there's just so fucking much, and we swear on this show, so
Yay.
just so you know. So for
No
anyone
problem.
anyone that doesn't know your backstory, I would love for you to give that. I'm sure you've done it a million times, like where you came
Yeah,
from,
that's
what you were
okay.
doing, and P.S. Tanya was born in Canada.
In fact, I was Miss Canada. Can you
Yes, you
believe it? Isn't that insane? It seems like another lifetime ago. I never even say that. That's the first time I actually, because I'm known for that. Like people will say, I've done so many other things, but people always introduce me as Miss Canada. And
Yes.
I'm like in my 50s now.
And how old were you when you were Miss Canada?
Oh gosh, I was 24,
24.
26, around there. Yeah. I mean, crazy, right? So,
Okay, and
yeah.
where was that on the like, was that at the beginning of your journey? Is that what kickstarted everything?
I mean, I was born in a small town in Canada called Waynfleet, Ontario, just outside of Niagara Falls, Ontario. And my dad has sod farm. So I grew up on like 500 acres of sod, right? So I was in the middle of nowhere and I knew that I wanted to be on TV. Like I just knew. I mean, I was watching like, Solid Gold. Remember those days? Right. And I wanted to be like a solid gold dancer. And or I wanted to be a soap star. But I was just obsessed with television and I don't know why, but I
You would be
was.
such a great soap star. Let's just a
I
little
well,
aside.
I got this close like a billion times and I
'Cause you
made it
could
down
be,
to the
like,
last.
sweet,
Yes,
but you could also play a villain. Like, you would
I
be a
can.
convincing villain.
I'm really good at
Sorry.
playing the villain and then the sweet girl and the others. Yes. So I wanted to be a soap star. I got so close so many times. I tested on set so many times, like 5 times. That's just a lot. You go to network and you test. And you make it down to like 2 to 3 people. And then for some reason, they never picked me. Oh, well. Yeah, but I did tons of other stuff. But no, I think it was I was a dancer, like I was a ballet dancer for many, many years and I was always performing. And then I tried for Miss Teen Niagara and I didn't win that because I couldn't answer the question what euthanasia was at 15. And I said it was young people in an Asian country. That didn't go well. Yeah. Yes. Never thought I'd ever step foot on stage ever again. Yes, I
Correct.
was laughed off stage. If there were cell phones back then, I would have never become a TV host because it would be all over the internet and I would just crawl in a cave for the rest of my life. Well, but then I ended up, my dad decided to fall off the horse, get back on and keep riding, right? So a couple years later, I tried for Miss Niagara and then I ended up winning that. And then I don't know how, but I ended up winning the Miss Canada pageant. So that did kind of, I would say that kind of started my traveling and public speaking and things like that. It kind of really makes you sort of step into this whole other level of who you are. So that was
Mhm.
fun. Yeah.
Amazing. And so
Yeah.
that was in your 20s, and then when did you? Because you went down, because you're in California now,
I'm in LA now.
and you've been there for a long time, and I'm sure did you do that, like, in the movies? Like, "I wanna make it in Hollywood. I'm the Canadian is moving down to California." Like, we've never talked about this. Like, we've never talked about
No, it's so
how this
funny that
all.
we never talked about this. So what happened was I was engaged to be married, if you can believe it. And he was my high school teacher. Not at the time. Not at the time. I was in college and graduated from college. But he was my high school teacher and I had a crush on him for years. We ended up dating and ended up getting engaged. But he was, to put it lightly, not really my healthy for me to be with this man, right? But I didn't realize that. So I until later. So I ended up calling my wedding off 5 days before the wedding, called it off, and then a few months later won Miss Canada,
Wow.
and then applied to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City, and I got in, all within, like, 6 months. Called the wedding off, tried for the Miss Canada pageant, won that. So, like, it all happened really quickly, and then before I knew it, I was in Manhattan, living in Manhattan, going to the American Musical Dramatic Academy for acting and singing and musical theater, and I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to be on a lot of things, a soap, Broadway, whatever. I just wanted to be out there. And so, yeah, then I realized I wasn't that great of a singer. Oh, Broadway didn't wasn't really my thing, but I ended up falling into like commercials and hosting and acting. And so it took me, like, I remember, oh my gosh, I lived in Manhattan for almost 10 years and it was hard. Like, I literally pounding the pavement every single day. And it took me 300 commercial auditions to get my first big commercial with Tony Danza. And it was an MCI. It was an MCI commercial with Tony Danza.
MCI, that's like a college, right? Like a school?
No, that's so funny. No, it's like AT&T. It's like a phone. It's an old phone thing. It's not even around anymore.
Wow, with Tony Danza, that's
With
fun.
Tony Danza, yes. And then I got a small part on Saturday Night Live, and I was in a scene with Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, and where we were dancing on the dance floor, and then he pretends that he starts dancing, and then he starts, like, boxing me, and I'm just like, I've played a lot of the comedic roles, so, that was that, and then, yeah, and it just kind of, like, went from there, and I just, I was auditioning a lot for a lot of things. I did a lot of free stuff. I did a lot of off-Broadway shows, and, year after year, just built my resume, got an agent, then got a commercial agent, and you just do the whole thing how it used to be. Now it's so different, but, yeah, and I just built my way, and then I auditioned for Sell This House. Actually, I auditioned for Robotica. Do you remember when Robot Wars and BattleBots were in? Everybody's watching those. Okay, so I hosted one of the most popular BattleBot type shows called Robotica.
Cool.
Yeah, with Amit Zappa, and I did 2 seasons of that or 3 seasons of that, I don't know, and then they got rid of the show, but it was a great show, very popular, and I loved it, and then from that, I got Sell This House, and Sell This House, I was on that show for 15 years.
God, it was 15 years, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was 10 years, well, 12 years, and then it went off the air for 7 years, and then it came back just a few years ago and 2 more seasons, and then COVID hit, and then that was that. Yeah.
Wow. And so to do Sell This House, you're also a real estate agent. Are you still?
Yes. I
Yes.
sold another house. I closed on, Sunday last week.
Just like
I
that.
Yeah, just like that.
So that's interesting. Did you get into real estate for that show specifically then?
No, I just got into real estate after because after you know, I'm in my 50s now and I've had a very wild career. Like lots of success, lots of failures, ups and downs. It's been wild, but the first half of it was extremely successful and so there was no room to be a real estate agent in what I was
Mhm.
doing, right? And I was hosting like Sell This House, Move This House, Sell This House Extreme, and then I executive produced Smart Home Nation and I was the host on that too. So, I mean, I was hosting, I was a TV host. And then as we all know, I don't know, maybe do people in Canada know that Hollywood has completely fallen apart? Do you guys know this?
Yes. I mean,
You do?
probably not everyone, but I'm privy, but I'm sure that a lot of other people maybe not.
Yeah, it's very different now. So even when you get work, if you're not on I mean, for the shows that I was doing, I did a lot of cable shows like A&E Network and Bio Network and like Disney and things like that. But it's different than ABC, Fox, NBC, CBS, like those are like major network, right? So all the shows that I did they weren't unionized. Like they weren't unionized shows, even though I had a giant career. So we weren't getting any residuals. So I still this day, my face is all over TV. Like if you dig a little bit, it's all out there, but no residuals.
Mm.
So when that happens, and then with the fall of Hollywood, it's just like disappeared. When you do get work, and because of all the shows out there now, like there's so much programming that people aren't watching shows particularly anymore, so you can't get the ratings up. So the money's just not there like it used to be. So when I had 2 shows come back, A&E had called and said that they wanted me to host 2 shows. One I sold and one was sell this house, and I was on the road again for, like, 8 months. I was just gone, you know? All the shows I got, I was always traveling. But the difference is now I have a teenager, right? So and I had all these things, I'm like, "You know what? It's just not worth it. This is not worth it anymore." So I wanted to pivot. It was like, it's time for you to kind of figure this out because this isn't really making you happy anymore."
Mm.
And so and I still love what I do. I still do infomercials. I still do a few things, but I don't know if I'll ever do, like, another TV series where I'm traveling. It's just I'm kind of past it now, and I've pivoted. It took me a little while to figure out the pivot, and I love what I do now, and yeah. So
So,
that's the story.
and there's so much to unpack about what it is that you do now. It's funny, like, I was thinking, I know you, like, backstory, Tanya and I met in Costa Rica.
We did.
We did, and we stayed in touch. We met, what, like, 2021? 2022?
We won, right? Was it after COVID? Was it
I think
after
it
COVID?
was. I think it was after COVID.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did I have
Yes,
Kobe?
it was after
Did
the
I have
shows for sure.
Yeah,
2021.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've just stayed in touch, and we've both gone through many a pivot and many,
Many a
like,
pivot.
many a pivot.
So Costa Rica was one of my pivots. I thought maybe I wanted to get into the healing space.
Yes.
Right? So I went and got my yoga certificate training, my training certificate, and I went and I got a somatic healing license. I took a year-long course very with, Lissa Nobrega. I took her it's not really like somatic, she doesn't really say that, but it's life coaching with a somatic-ish type of twist to it. And then I went to Rhythmia, and I thought I was gonna maybe work at Rhythmia. I was trying when you're in a pivot, just try everything. Try everything. Some things work out, some things don't, but you will find like, you'll be guided, and you'll figure out what that is. So, that was all a part of my path.
Yeah, and so we met down there, and we've stayed in touch all of this time, and I wanna get to what it is you're doing now because that's gonna bring it all full circle back to why you're on the show and not just because you're my friend and I wanted to hang out. Like, there's a reason,
Probably
there's
do
a
like
message
that a lot too,
behind it.
yeah.
Like, Tanya has a lot obviously, with her background, we all like, she's got so much to offer the audience about what it's like to speak and lead and have and have a voice with clarity and all of that, we're gonna get to that. But in the last couple of years, you also have experienced some pretty devastating stuff, the fires.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
so, yeah, that happened, we all know when that happened a year ago, like,
A big, big,
where
big part of your story, right? Really huge part of
which
your
is a
story.
big part of my story. I was very much searching well, I had decided what I wanted to do, but going through a major pivot also means that you've lost like, usually people when they're pivoting, especially for their careers, because 'cause they've financially, you're in a situation where you're like, "I gotta pivot," you know? And it was kind of one of those things. So, that happened, and I was kind of, like, trying to find myself back again, "Who am I? What do I wanna do?" It was a really, really tough time. Finally, I sort of figured it out, and then my house burned down in the Palisades. So, that kind of put a whole new spin on my life, on the things that are important to me. Like, when you absolutely lose everything, which is what happened, and then, our insurance companies just weren't there for us for an entire year. They finally gave us like we have maybe half the money that we're owed, but everyone it's still a disaster. Like it's kind of one of those things if you don't if it's not on the news, people have sort of forgotten about it. But the Palisades right now is still struggling, very much so, and people are not being paid, and it's so sad, and so it has been a very tough year. I'm glad 2025 is gone, but it was also an experience where we had to evacuate the house, not thinking ever that this was gonna happen, and we got stuck in the fires. Like, I was with my mom, my mom. I got stuck in the car with my mom and my cat. So, yeah, so we evacuated, and it was crazy, and then we were stuck in the fires in the car. I didn't know if we were gonna get out. I was yeah, like, there's literally fire on both side. I remember our car was just filling up with black smoke, and it was a very, very when you think that you may not survive something and you're in the car with somebody that you love most, like your top 2, 3 people ever in the world that you love the most, it's a really interesting dynamic. I tried calling some of my family members going, "Hey, it was great, great to know you, but we might not ever talk again." And my brother thought I was joking, And then I had to go, the phones were ringing, it was just like my cell phone was ringing, my mom's phone was ringing, it was just insane, and I ended up, like, having this weird thing overtake me where I just couldn't think anymore. And so, OT, my boyfriend had called me and he said, he was trying to find me. He's like, "Where are you?" But he has me on Life 360. And so he finally found out where my car was and directed me to get out of the fires and out of the smoke. But it was like I had a lot of PTSD for a few months. And then I think because of that, you just, you have a choice. Either you're going to be a victim or you're going to, you know, walk right through it with your head held high, And, yeah, we didn't go back to the house for months because the house is just unlivable. So our house was one of, like, there was maybe 3 houses on our street out of 80 houses that all burnt down. We had, it was very, very toxic. It still is. Like, we just literally gutted it, like, last week. Like, we gutted the house. So we're still very much in the trenches with the house, trying to get it, we're trying to figure out stuff with the insurance companies and the banks and the this and the that, because soon, a lot of us may end up having to pay a mortgage on a house that we can't live in, and then rent where they're exorbitant, like, prices on rent. Like, we're paying $8,000 a month in an 1,100 square foot apartment.
Wow.
Yeah. So just putting perspective on things that you're like, okay, so I got to figure this out. And that's when I decided I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to look at the glass half full. There's a lot of blessings that came along with this. I'm closer now to my daughter than I ever have been. And we're going to get through this. And, she goes to Pali High. Pali High School is 40% burnt down. And then so they gutted some other building. They gutted an old Sears building. They all moved into that and went to school. And yesterday, or the day before yesterday, was her first day back at Pali High, the
Wow.
Pali High. It's still kind of burnt down, but they built all these, like, little portable little classrooms and stuff, and we're just, we're getting through it. But because of that, I knew that I wanted to do something. Like, I basically just dove right into my work. That's what I did. Because it's one of those things where I just I couldn't deal with the sadness anymore. Like, everywhere you go in this area, because I'm in Santa Monica, which is right beside Palisades, everywhere you go, you're in line at the coffee store, at the grocery store, you're driving down the street and you're at a stop sign and you know how sometimes you might look at somebody. There's always the cloud of the fires. Everybody's affected. There's stories on every sidewalk, every corner, and it's just you can't get away from it here. And it's one story after another. Um, so yeah, so I just dove right into my work and it's definitely paying off. So
Mm.
I've started 2025.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this work that you're doing, let's talk about that. So, I want to just actually spin back to the podcast for a moment. So you
Yeah.
did the podcast. Tell me how that podcast came to be. Well, I know. Tell the audience how the podcast came to be because you started that when? What year was that?
Oh gosh, I started Life Masters almost 10 years ago, I think.
Okay.
It was like 2014. It's when okay, so I was on a TV show on the Hallmark Channel. And, and I talk about it publicly now. It just was a very toxic environment for me. Don't want to speak on behalf of anybody else, but the environment there and a variety of reasons, I'm sure people listening to this can figure it out. Everything you've heard about the entertainment business, there's a lot of truth, like 99% truth to it. And I was caught up in it. I was caught up in the whole Me Too movement. And I walked off set and it was the biggest and most difficult decision I ever made. And I had hit rock bottom because I was basically boycott from the business for like 7 years, 8 years until A&E called me and asked me to rehost the shows like 7 years later. But yeah, and I had two screen tests during that time that were canceled. And so, like, I knew that there was this whole thing. Phone calls weren't being returned, left me, managers left me. So it was this whole thing where I ended up hitting rock bottom.
You got canceled for standing in your truth and power,
Yes, I did.
as it happens to fucking women far too often.
Yes, you're right. And I am one of the casualties of the Me Too movement. When it happened to me, I did it about 8 or 9 months right before Me Too movement came out. But I was one of the ones that kind of started the movement. And,
Mm.
since then, there were some lawsuits that happened on the show and like all this other stuff. So I do feel like I did what I needed to do, but I paid hard for it. And then I hit my rock bottom and I didn't know what to do. I was lost. I mean, when you have something where you have such a giant entertainment career, a giant career in general, you're so attached to the accolades and the awards and the who you are and the last show you've done. And so when all of that disappears, I had a massive identity crisis. Like I didn't know who I was. And so I fell into a very big pit for about I hid from the world for like 7 years, and that is when I met plant medicine. That's when the first medicine I ever did was ayahuasca. I had a friend, she called me up, she's like, "Hey, I think you need to come over to my house. A shaman is coming over." And she didn't even really tell me what it was. She goes, "Bring a pillow, don't eat any salt, and show up at my house." And so I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Don't eat any salt, don't eat any meat." Like, there were some rules, right? And she goes, "Bring a pillow, bring a blanket, just show up at my house." So I did, and I didn't know what ayahuasca was at all. Like, I hadn't done research. I was like, "Okay," like, and I ended up drinking 3 giant cups of it my first
Wow.
time. Right? And to this day, I still have never had such a powerful, powerful experience. It was the worst and the best of everything that you're afraid of and everything you
Mm.
want in a journey. And I got it all in one night, like all of it. And the medicine told me to start a podcast and to call it Life Masters and to interview 100 people that hit rock bottom and got out of it. And it literally was very clear. And it said, the answers will be in that, like in the podcast. Like just keep interviewing people that have gone through their rock bottom and then learn from them how they got out of it. And your answers will be there. And I'm like, yeah, but what about like paying for my rent?
Exactly.
Yeah, the medicine doesn't work that way. So I did it and I chipped away and I've never really put a lot of money into it. I interview the people that I want to interview. It's not I have a few celebrities in there, but it's not celebrity driven. I choose it not to be. I want it to be about real life people with real life stories. And then, and through the years I've taken a break and then I've picked it up again and I've started it up again. It's called Life Masters 2.0. So I'll have you on the 2.0. And yeah, and I have about 20 episodes that are going to start to be released on my YouTube channel. So
So how many episodes to date then in total? Do you have 100 yet?
I have over 100, but I don't post all of them. Yeah, because some of them just, when and you know this doing a podcast, like some people are just great interviews and some people, the interviews they kind of fall flat.
Mhm.
So I'm very picky on the ones that I actually put out there. So it has to be a great interview in order for it to actually make air. I can't just put everything out there because, I just don't
Well,
want to, right? Yeah.
and then the bigger question is, have you gotten the answers that you were looking for by doing the podcast?
Yes, yes, I have.
Whoa, look at that. The medicine delivers once again with the message.
Yes, but it took a long time and you have to be patient and, time is there is no time, right? So like you just to the medicine there isn't. There's no, getting up in the morning tomorrow and you have to do this this. It's like this is your this is your path and but time is never a part of the equation. So yeah. Yeah, it
Amazing.
definitely did, and I'm writing a book, I still have to finish it, oh my gosh, but yes, so
Okay, so what's the book? Tell us about the book. Is this yeah, like a memoir or what's the book?
so now that I'm doing what I'm doing, which we'll get into that, but, like, I want it to be a little bit of my life, a little bit of a memoir, but also I want it to be about what I'm teaching now, and so basically what happened is I was meeting all these people that had gotten out of rock bottom, really and most of the people that I interviewed had become quite successful, but they became quite successful at something that they were naturally good at. And so a lot of them had hit their rock bottom. And when you're in your rock bottom, a couple of things I've learned is nobody's going to be there to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to get out of it yourself and you have to have some real conversations with yourself. And it's also accepting the fact that you're in rock bottom and there's always that day. There's always a day that something happens because after interviewing 100 people, I know this that there's always a day or a moment or a thing that happens that makes that shift that you're like, I'm done and I'm going to get out of this because I'm worth it. Whether it was a book that somebody gave you or whether it was whether it was ayahuasca, whatever that is. And so I decided that like I had seen that they had all really became successful at something that they were really talented at that they enjoyed doing. And even with like going to Rhythmia and, getting into the wellness world and all that, I loved it, but it wasn't something that I would have, this as much. You have to put years and years and years and years and years and years and years of training to really be somebody like yourself. You know, you're a breathwork facilitator, but you've been doing this your whole life, right? Like you're the real deal. And I knew that I loved wellness. I loved all of that. I loved the medicine community and all of that. But what I'm really good at and what I've done my whole life is really communicate on camera. So now with video being the king of everything, like
Yep.
everybody's growing their businesses on video, right? Video is king right now. Everybody needs to be on video. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can teach confidence on camera and then bring in some of the wellness stuff, some of the somatic stuff, some of the breath work, like just very basic, because that's all I learned was like basic stuff. But I definitely bring it in, or I'll bring in somebody like you to talk to the students because you're an expert at it, right? You're an expert at a bunch of things. But
So are
yeah,
you.
Hmm.
Let's
And so
just
I
pat each
started
other on the
teaching
back
public
for the next 10
speaking.
minutes. No.
What's
Continue.
that? What's that?
I was just joking. Let's just pat each other on the back, shall we?
Yes, we should. Well, we should. You got to celebrate the wins. That's another thing. Celebrate even the small things.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It's important. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying, so
No,
you
that's
did
okay.
too.
So now I started off with teaching public speaking, which is what I still do. So I have like a whole thing that I do, and I teach people to really find that story, that message that they want to bring out to the world, and bring it out to the world. And so I still have my public speaking clients, and then I also have I created a whole course called Mastering the Spotlight, a whole company. And I do a ton of public speaking, and I teach about confidence on camera, the science of communication, leadership language, and how to present yourself on camera to gain the trust of the person on the other side so that you can sell more products and get more clients. And like, not that it's all about that, but it's like we have to build our businesses on social media with video, with course creation, with podcasts. We're all doing it, right? So, how do you come across trustworthy? How do people trust you? How do they like you? What are some of the things that, that you can do that might cause people not to like you? Or, are you overselling? Are you underselling? There's so much to it.
Yeah. Well, even just getting over the hump for the vast majority of people I work with, they're like, well, I just don't feel comfortable on camera. Right. So it's even just like those initial steps of like getting to the point where you feel comfortable hitting record with the camera turned on. Right.
Yeah.
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 So, so
So
important.
that's number one. I have this thing called the 30-day challenge that I get people in. And by the time they're done, they are very comfortable with being on camera because everything I'm teaching, I have been through it. I've lived it. I teach interview skills. I teach, podcasting skills. Like I'm working with Gramercy right now. It's a hedge fund company in Connecticut. And I'm training right now their top 6 executives. So these men are very powerful, very successful men. And I'm training them and teaching them how to really present themselves in their Zoom calls and with their speeches because they a lot of them have to get on stage and speak too, and their interviews with CNN and with Bloomberg Television. And they were expressing to me, for example, like some of them were saying like sometimes it's really hard in those interviews because there's the reporters that are trying to kind of sway them a certain way and make them look bad in a way, or however they're trying to skew this question, right? And I teach them a lot about deflecting, but still giving information. And a lot of it is just giving them permission to be able to deflect, to be able to not answer, to be able to say, you know what, let's stick to the topic and the reason why I'm here in the middle of the interview. Like you're in control of the interview, right? And so there's all these little things. There's all these ways in which if you don't take the time to, and you're on camera a lot and you're in video a lot, you don't take the time to actually really, I guess, take apart how you're saying things, how you're coming across. It's a real disservice because when you really take the time to build upon I call it your public persona, or your public personality is what I help them build. You take the time to really dig in, it makes a huge, huge difference with how the world sees you.
Yeah. 100%. And I think I love that the scope of people that you're working with and teaching this to, it's like everyone from these high level executives to, I'm sure you have people that are just starting out on social media and then they want to create a brand for themselves so that they
Yeah,
selling their coaching packages or whatever, right?
entrepreneurs. Yeah, they're that's the largest group of people that I teach are entrepreneurs starting out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I see on social media now, like, there's all of these AI ads coming up about, how to speak on camera, and it's interesting because I've let myself stop and watch some of them, and the value they're giving is thumbs down,
I
garbage at
know.
best, right? Like, it's telling you not to say, I'm like, "Well, I think that's pretty obvious. Thank you, Doctor Obvious AI," you know? So learning all of the ins and outs and the tips and tricks from someone like you, like we said, with 25 years experience
Yeah,
really
thank you.
is something else. Like even just in this conversation, I feel like I've already taken a little couple of tidbits for myself as a presenter.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
public speaking is, as a digital marketer, I've come to realize like one of my natural strengths, right? One of the things that I'm naturally
Mhm.
good at is speaking. It's something
Yes, I've seen you speak. You're amazing.
like, and I've
Amazing. Yeah.
done it, like, since speech in elementary school. Like, I would always be the one that would win the speech competition in the classroom and get to go do it on the stage in the gymnasium, right, with my little cue cards. I did my first corporate talk at 2013, and people forget that being a public speaker isn't like, yes, it's a full-time career for some people. That's how they make their income. They just get paid to do corporate speaking, executive speaking gigs. But for me, as a digital marketer, public speaking is a tool in my marketing arsenal, right? The more I speak, the more leads I'm getting, the more opportunities to sell my stuff,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
think that this is a conversation that needs to be had too with a lot of people because a lot of people say, "Well, I don't like speaking. I don't want to speak." I'm like, "But do you know you're leaving money on the table if you don't?" Right?
Yeah. Oh, big time. Yes, it's so true. And it's also, I think a lot of entrepreneurs actually want to speak. They're just too afraid to speak. And some of them don't know what that signature speech is. They don't have that life speech, that message. And that's kind of that is what I work with them to help them find to start. Because once they feel like they do have a message inside, they can't wait to get on the stage. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what you do cover inside Mastering the Spotlight. And I know you have your 30-day challenge. Is that inside Mastering the
Yeah. So
Spotlight?
now I
Yeah.
give that as if you sign up for Mastering the Spotlight, you get the 30-day challenge now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I think that that is such an important aspect, having that's because I just worked with a branding client back in December, and we were trying to just get a brand voice cohesive across everything. And it was like, okay, you need to have your signature talk, that's the story. That's like the origin story, essentially, right? And then you need to have like three or four little offshoot stories that are tangible teaching moments about what it is that you do, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's about the length of my expertise in that area goes.
No, but you're good. That's good. That works. That works. That's the starting point.
um, but I would love,
Yeah.
I mean, clearly people are going to hear this and they're going to be curious about the course. They're going to go check it out. But why don't we give them a little bit more about what it is? Like a bit more
Yeah,
inner
so Mastering the Spotlight. So I'm launching a brand new website, tanyamemme.com any day now. So you can go there and you can kind of see everything from the website. It's going to be I'm so excited about this. Or you can just reach out to me on social media. But Mastering the Spotlight, there's 2 different levels. There's Mastering the Spotlight, and it's just the online course. And with the online course, there's 8 modules, but there's like 24 videos. And you learn everything from, how to speak authentically on camera, charisma, how charisma can be learned. Some people are born with charisma, but it can also be learned with how you speak. The 3 levels of expression. I talk about what makes a star. I interviewed like Hollywood people. I open up the people that are in my life through being on TV for so many years, and I have them speak on these private videos that are so amazing. I interviewed one of my very good friends who has like 2, 3, 4 million, I don't know the number, million followers. And that interview was amazing because I'm actually talking to him, asking questions. How do you grow on Instagram? How did you get them? Who gets to speak to someone who has over 1 million followers? Not many, right? So I add in all that. I have one of my best friends she was my makeup artist. She's a makeup artist for the Golden Bachelor and Bachelor Nation, basically. She's the head makeup artist. So she's right now I'm creating, and I'm going to put it in the course as well, a video series of basic video makeup. But a lot of it is just how to, like, the science of communication, how to present yourself in videos and how to get over it's mindset too. So there's a lot of mindset work there too. And I'm going to put in some some meditations in there. So the course, I'm always kind of building upon it. And right now it's fabulous. It's all online. You go as you please. And then the next level up is Mastering the Spotlight Elite. And I'm launching that one in about a month and a half, where I come on weekly for people that are in the community. So yeah, you're in the
Live
community, you can
call.
ask any questions. Yeah. Like a 1 hour Zoom call, and I have guests on. So I'll probably have Gina, who's the makeup artist, come on. I'll have people like you come on. And, I'll do most of the teaching where we go through all the exercises that are in Mastering the Spotlight. And it's a lot of like breakout groups, and we perform and we practice because confidence is it's not, you know, we're all born as little kids. We're all born very confident, right? We get up, we fall down. We get up, we don't care what anyone thinks. We just don't care. We're these confident little beings that are running around, but there's always life can beat us up. There's that time in the 5th grade when the teacher told you that your speech sucked or whatever, or called you out in class right when you were about to, say something that was meaningful, and then you got called out. Or there's these moments that there's reasons why people are very insecure with communicating on camera or on stage, and we just feel kind of shut down. So there's a lot of mindset work. I bring in a lot of the somatic work that I learned from taking Alyssa's course for a year and studied it deeply for a year. And we have it's a community that I've built, and we come on once a week, and I answer any questions. I'm also available for you to send your videos in the Facebook page. So you would send your video, say, hey, so I give coaching on the videos in the Facebook page as well. So by the time, like, you're with me for 6 months or a year, however long you're with me, you are so confident on stage in videos, in your Zoom calls. I also do this whole thing where I help them with their background. So I set you up. It's like tech time, how to have basic tech setup, and how to
Well,
do
and I
your
love that because wasn't that the first thing I said when I got on the call? I'm like, "Well, tell me about your background."
yeah, and this is basic. I mean, I do all these other things too. There's a whole, which webcam to get, all the different things, and how you get set up so you're super professional. Because I believe that, your background is very important, so that you're not, especially when you're making videos and putting videos out there,
Yeah.
your background, like, just make sure it's not distracting, because it takes away from you and your message. And so we dig into all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I love it. I've had quite a few people go through it. It's expanding every day. I'm always dropping more modules into the course. It's very affordable. Right now, like the lowest, the one that's just online, Mastering the Spotlight, I think it's like 297, and you have the whole course,
Amazing.
and then the step up is the elite. And that one that one's like over, it's like I think 1,200 right now, but I'm probably gonna be raising that price just because time and people and just energy and all the effort I put into it and everything, but it's great.
I love that. And I think that
Yeah.
I'm glad we talked about everything that's included in it because there are a lot of people, I've been seeing it out there teaching like a similar theme, but obviously they don't have the kind of background that you do, the extent. These are like people in their 20s that have been like Instagram influencers for 6 months. And now they're like, I'm going to teach you how to be a masterful speaker on camera. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even that. They're only teaching either only the mindset piece or they're only teaching NLP or something like that.
Yeah.
But your course covers all of that and the tech, which is like my nerdy brain. When I sign up for anything, I'm like, I want to know the tech stuff. That is so important. And that is the thing that a lot of people get hung up on. If they're not hung up on the idea of just being scared about being on camera, it's like, well, I don't do tech. Like I can't, I'm not techie. Like
Yeah.
the amount of people I get that come to me for web design stuff, they're like, well, I'm just not techie. I'm like, yes, you are. You just need to have the right teacher and ask, and it's not about even asking the right questions. It's just about having the right person to understand where you're starting from that can give you the right information to make you a
Yeah.
techie, right?
Totally. The other thing too, oh yeah, so I was also on that note too, I'm also teaching a little bit of AI for beginners, which I
Yes.
do teach that too. That's in the course. But these are all in the live classes right now until I create the videos and I put them in and I drop them into the Mastering the Spotlight. But we do all this. Like if you're with me for these online Zooms, then you just kind of come in and then you can kind of stay in however long you want. But we do that. And I also do basic editing. So I'll either use Filmora or CapCut, and I teach literally I'm on Zoom. I will take out my phone because I teach people how to build their business on their phone. How to edit, how to do everything on your phone, how to film on your phone, how to set up the lighting so it's easy, all of it. The microphones, the whole thing. So I'll plug in my phone to the Zoom call and we will all have our phones together and I'll show them basic editing with like
Beautiful.
right there. Yeah. And so I walk them through it. People can ask questions and it's like it's mind-blowing for people that have been held back for years, And because a lot of my clients I would say are like 40 and older,
Yeah.
they
That's
feel a little bit left behind. Yeah.
they're the like the name of this podcast. They are analog girls in a digital world.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I forget my background. I was an editor. I was a video editor, a tape to
I
tape
keep
video
forgetting
editor.
that. That's like, so you've always been techie. This is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for a decade, that's what I did. I was a t I college, I did a course called Technical Operations in Television. Like, that was, like, one of the courses I had to do, like, all about white balancing and, like, all of that
My
shit.
God.
Um,
I
so
love
that's
that though, because now it's all coming into like you're loving it now.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
That's what you do.
that's why I got into this whole digital marketing space because I never even saw it, now in my life, like, as a skill set because 'cause I'm like, "Well, you just do it," you know?
Right.
And
Right.
I forgot, I went to school for this 20 years ago, right? I was 18 when I went to school for it, and I was a video editor up
Yes.
until 24, and then I started directing and producing, but, um, that's another big hurdle for people, so I love that is also something that you teach inside this course, and I can tell you right now, um, I have 3 clients that I'm working with that I know I'm going to be directing to do this course with you.
Okay. Yes. We're gonna do something together for sure. Yes.
Yes, and yes, everybody stay tuned because Tanya and I are planning some big and beautiful things in the world.
Yes.
We're gonna be doing some workshops and maybe even a luxury retreat we talked about, so
Yeah.
stay tuned for that.
I'm in. Because I love what we do together because it's so needed. You guys, like, if you're out there struggling to get on camera, like, just yes, take the advice from Meg. You're so amazing, with all of everything that you're teaching and learn from people that have been doing it for years, whether it's me or whether it's someone else, but learn. I'm a big, big believer in I've taken so many courses, so many classes. I live on my computer. I've had to learn how to totally reinvent myself and create an online course. It's a lot of work but I just do it. I've taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to do go high level, which is like, the whole, how I run my business, the platform. Yeah. But if you're afraid of something, just walk through it, just do it. Because the only way that you're not going to be afraid of that one day is trying it, you know, and learning from people that have been doing it for years.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and having a support community around you especially,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of, like, joining a program like yours, especially in the elite one, is that you're gonna have that community of people that are fumbling through it with you,
Yes.
who will inevitably probably end up becoming some of your best business referrals,
Yes. For sure.
right? If
Yep.
there's anything that I have learned, I am in a bunch of different, like, digital marketing work groups and communities and stuff, and we're all doing the same thing, but we're not competing because each of us have our own specialty, right? And our own niche
Completely.
that we like to work with, and so I think that's really important too, to just recognize that doing it in a community is so helpful.
Very important. I'm a part, I think, 3 different communities right now. One is for, women that are in business online businesses, building funnels.
Mhm.
The Go High Level community, they're all women, the one that I've joined. And then also, female entrepreneurs. So, yeah, so I'm a part of a few communities, and I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah.
change your life by joining
100%.
communities and learning and taking courses and classes and learn, like, get out there and learn. It's
Yep,
great.
and
We're
you're
so
gonna
lucky.
see I know. We're so
Yeah.
lucky to be in this tech world now where we can have communities and relationships digitally. Like, look, I'm in ice cold polar vortex, Ontario, Canada, and you are down there in Santa Monica, and yet we
Yeah.
get to hang out on Zoom. Like, it's such a
It's
beautiful
so
time.
great, and all the classes you can take and courses you can take, and we didn't have that. I didn't have that when we didn't have it when we were younger. I
No,
mean, you
no, I
just it yeah.
I was just saying to someone recently, when I started in television, we were still using Betacam SP.
Yes,
Like, they were video recording tapes that were this big and this
I
long.
have them in
It
my
was like
I have them.
yeah, and then I remember the transition going into digital. It was such, like, a messed up like, everyone's brains were
Yes.
just like, all of a sudden, we're getting rid of tapes and everything is digital on a computer, like,
Yeah, I remember that, and it was like, "This isn't fun, this isn't gonna work,"
"This isn't gonna last."
it isn't gonna last, 'cause I remember, like, you'd be able to take a VHS tape and rewind it and then record over it. You can't do that, right? Now we don't get to even record our shows anymore. I don't think anybody even does that anymore. They're just on demand. You just watch them on
Exactly.
there. It's so different now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So wild. Alright, well, I don't wanna hold up any more of your time or any more of the
This
listeners'
is
time, because I
so
do try to
great.
keep these
Yes.
bite-sized, but I would love is there anything else that you want anyone to hear? Maybe anyone that's out there that is either in a moment of pivot in their life or in their rock bottom, or they're just they what could you say to someone that's just, like, on the cusp of wanting to really full up show up fully in their spotlight? Like, words of wisdom from Tanya Memme, and then I wanna know where people can find you and connect with you and all that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in your rock bottom, I've said here already, really, really join. Like one of the things that I tell people that I mean, I've interviewed so many people that hit rock bottom, is to really get out there and join a group. Like find out what resonates with you, whether it's painting or pottery or cooking, whatever it is. Join a community that embraces something that you love. Meet new people, expand your network. Even though you're not in the mood to go talk to people and you're not in the mood to this, just start off with maybe taking a course by yourself. You don't even have to be face to face with anybody. Start exploring, start learning. And it is amazing what can grow from learning and discovering and trying new things. Just start there. And yes, you're thinking, okay, well, it costs money because a lot of times people at the rock bottom don't have much to spend, but it doesn't. There's free courses out there. There's so much free stuff out there, or very, very low cost things that you get so much. People give, give, give. There's a lot that you can learn. And so that would be one of my first things to do, is that if you're in your rock bottom, just expand your network and get out there and learn as much as you possibly can and meet new people.
I love
So
that.
that's one. And then to get a hold of me, just reach out to me. Reach out to me. I'd love to like get on. I have a calendar link on my website. Let's do a one-on-one and I can talk you through it. And I'd love for you to take my course and learn confidence on camera and get out there and make your dreams come true. Build your business in video. And if there's anything holding you back, talk to me about it. This is what I've done for 25 years. I've been there. I know. I've been there. I was laughed off stage when I was 15. So that hurt. It took
I
me
love
years to get back on the stage, a few years to get back on, but I did. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, and it
I
paid and
love
it paid
that.
off. Yeah.
It did, it did. I love that
Yeah.
story. That is so like, that is a beautiful I love it. I never heard that one, so thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being so honest and open and willing to just share about everything, because that's super important to me and my audience. They know that authenticity is numero uno. So, I will just
Yes.
say to the listeners that Tanya is the real deal. She is, we've had so many beautiful conversations offline, and
Yes.
your heart is pure gold, pure gold, and,
Thank you.
yeah, and I just
Thank
love you so
you.
much, and I'm so thankful that you took the time to chat-a-roo today.
Yay! And you guys check out my Life Masters podcast because I'm gonna have Meg on it. Okay? So look for her new episode too. Okay.
Yay.
Thanks for having
My pleasure. Thank you, Tanya.